Okay, well, imagine this. You just walk up some Hot Rod Hoarder's garage. What? And you see this. Life would be pretty darn good, eh? Now, just a few weeks ago, you guys were all giving me a hard time that I bought probably one of the roughest 55 Nomads in existence. So we give it a pretty hard. If you're new here, Dan here, DD Speed Shop. This is my 55 Chevy Nomad, and it's beat. Was beat. We've put new floors in from the firewall to the trunk, inner wheel tubs, inner structure, doors, changed the chassis. This is a rebuilt chassis I have. All tubular control arms, disc brakes, brand new quarters on it. There hasn't been much we haven't touched on this thing. It has been a lot of work so far. But we can't stop now. The body is just sitting on the frame. There's no mounts. That being said, they are perfectly lined up. So I do have, in this box up there, 2 sets, I believe, or at least 1 set of body mounts. So I'm going to jack this thing up, put the frame on jack stands. We'll then have to jack the body up and wiggle around and get it, all the body mounts down. It's a bit of a hassle, but should be pretty good. Honestly, the car's pretty straight on the chassis. So that's step 1. I think then we'll get back to welding. At this point now, the quarter panels, they're just tacked on, obviously. We should be able to finish weld all those on. Finish the rockers, or at least get them kind of mostly together. And then the car will be metalworked and ready to move on to the next step. I have been amassing a pile of parts. This is brand new fuel tank. In here is wiring harness. I got motor mounts. I don't even know what's in that box. Fuel sender and stuff. Inside the house I have a set of headers. I have a steering column, a tilt column for it. I think I made a deal on a motor and transmission, so we have all that. So really, I got kill mat or sound deadener on its way. I have headlight buckets. These are a little on the rusty side to get that taken care of. We have the brakes redundantly came in a kit, so I have the master power booster with master. I got miles and miles of fuel line, brake line. Whew. There's a lot, but at least at this point now, there's no more taking apart. It's all going together, and video after video after video, we'll be seeing big leaps and bounds forward. I'm hoping. Glass, still on the to-do list. Unfortunately, I should buy some, but it's expensive, and I'm cheap right now. So I'm gonna get the camera set up. We'll get this thing up in the air. We'll get it under. We'll get some body mounts in. I'll show you the progress I'm making, and then we'll start jamming with the welder. All right, we're up on stands. I'll just show you my predicament. Now this is a little bit of my fault. Well, mostly all my fault. See, what I did originally is I torched the mounting bolts off, thinking they would just fall out, but they're a little on the rusty side in there. So, good news, bad news. It did, when we were putting the body on, having those, they were essentially alignment pins at that point because they were rusted in a spot. So they went into the 2 rear holes of the frame, and the front just kind of teetered down, and everything lined up perfect. Except now I got to screw with it. And there's really no good way to screw with this, because you got to get the body off the frame, and as you can see, change camera angles, it's boxed on that side. The back is a nightmare to get to. It is open. You can see that opening in the front. So I got to get under it and go in through the front. Oh, and by the way, that's where the spare tire well is. So there's not a pile of room, but I'm thinking either an engine crane or a 4x4 block, lift it up a little bit, put all the heat to it, let it melt down to almost nothing, and then pop it out. That's my plan. I'd like not to torch the frame too bad. The body we're not too concerned about. There's a little denty back here. So just show you where we're at. Use the floor jack and some 4x4s and jam a couple 2x4s in there. So I got one out. The other one, still see it's all seized in there. So this is what it was. That's got to be original. So that was fitting through the body, and then this is the what's left of the body bushing, and this was all just seized and rusted and all that together. So this is the new stuff, brand new bushing that goes on top. You then take this, you put it underneath. If I can do this one-handed. So it kind of makes a little sandwich, and then you have your washers. This one will go on the top, this one goes on the bottom, and you run your bolt through. Now, obviously, they've got quite a hole in them for this little bolt to fit in, right? So that gives you all your adjustments side to side, if any is needed. And then it has a bunch of these. These are for like shims and stuff like that, if you want to raise or lower or do whatever. I typically just kind of put them in without anything, and it hasn't been a problem yet. On every other car they have those little metal things, but I think they just cause a bunch of rust and screwing around and all that. So we'll get on the other side. I got the torch out. I mean, just heat it up, work it back and forth, be gentle. It all comes out. Then comes the trick of dropping it back down. But I mean, again, you see up there, we're lined up, we're in the ballpark, so we'll put it down, get it centered up, and then start working our way forward, get all the bolts in, just so they're started. And then, you know, kind of give an eyeball side to side, maybe put a tape measure on the, you know, the axle to the wheel well or something, make sure she's straight, cinch her down, and we're done. So it's a pretty simple job, a little labor intense. You do have to use like a floor jack and a 4x4, and I mean, pry bars, hammers, you know, those are all your friend. So we'll get this taken care of. Should probably fix this dent at some point, eh? Maybe I'll paint shiny paint right over that. Is that what you guys want to see? While we're under this hot rod, look at that, every body bolt lines up. These are the ones that obviously weren't going to line up on the frame before, but they're perfect on this frame. It hasn't been all butchered up. What else we got going on? There's one there. Ones at the front are good. Set of doubles. Up here, up there. So everything's lining up good. So now what we're going to do, start working on the corners. I think I'll actually start on the other side, but like I said, the lower section of the corners, I never properly did. I just did too ugly kind of weld to hold it. So, again, this is where the quarter actually kind of slides over this panel. I don't know what I did there, but I obviously cut it out. So I'll carry that on, and or at least part of it, I might lap it, and weld that all in, and then put a 2x4 in here. It's actually not too bad. It's pretty lined up. So it needs just a little bit of love on both sides. I think I'll actually start on the other side, because that's the side the welder is on. And then once we get that together, oh, I'm getting old, we'll do this. Weld the tail fin in, I think. Yeah, got that all dialed together. Guess I got a little piece to get in there, but I might do that some other time. And up in here, and then the jams, whatever it may need. That way the quarters will be 100% on. Then we can start getting onto the fun stuff a little bit. I feel like doing something else. We're doing lots of metal work and all that, so maybe we'll... Now the body is bolted to the frame, and then going nowhere. I think the next video maybe it'll be brakes or brakes. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we'll set the camera up and we'll start jamming on the quarter panel. So I got the bottom of the quarter all welded up. If you go back to the last video, you'll see kind of, whoops, how I did that. And I had to do a little bit of screw around in the door jam in this little area down there. So like I said, the panel goes in, it steps down, and then it goes. So I butted this up on top of it, so there'll be a little filler in there, but it'll be fine. The door is, it's out of whack, it's kind of twisted, so on the first click, like the whole sill lines up front to back, and around here isn't too bad, but the door obviously sticks out. And then when you give it the full latch, it's good here, but it goes in a little too far there. So the door needs to do one of those. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know if this is going to be the permanent door on the thing or not. It's in good shape. Needs a little bit of rust repair. I did bang out the dent a little bit. So, yeah, underneath we're all good. Plug weld in, nice and sturdy. We're going to start up here now. Is this still on camera? Let's go for a bit of a ride here. So we'll take all this trim. I just have it sitting here just for safekeeping. Oh, this side actually isn't even plug welded. So you know what? I'll get reset up and we'll kind of go through that. This will all be plug welded. So what we're going to do up here is the exact same we did underneath. I didn't show you. We'll seam weld it the whole way around there. And the door jam's good enough. And then we got to do the fin. And around the back side. And then I think it's probably time for a break and a little bit of dinner. And the key, go slow. Don't put too much heat in it. So up top here, this is actually not too bad, but we're still going to go ahead and vice grip it all together so we have a nice tight little bit. So we're welding through this and the hole to the back metal, right? And yeah, clamp around there so it looks good. Self tappers or whatever you want to do. And for the love of God, buy decent vice grips. Don't buy the Chinese ones. If this piece opens the other way, if it's on this side, stop the video right now and go throw it right in the garbage. Do yourself a favor. We need a couple of whacks. Alright, let's plug weld this thing. These ones here, when I'm plug welding, typically have the welder set up a little hotter than if I'm just kind of like a zip disc through. So I'll set this up, I guess it's 18 gauge, so I have it set up for 16 gauge. And maybe clean the metal too. So there we go, that's all dialed. Again, you don't want to put too much heat in it. We only did a few of them, so it's probably fine. So now we'll turn the welder down and I'll start welding here, skipping a couple. I'll only do a few at a time. I really want to take my time with this panel. You can see this what I'm doing here? Oh, yeah. I really want to take my time with this panel because it was expensive and it's well, not to do my own horn, but I did a pretty good job installing it, and I'm happy with it. So there'll be a lot of that. Skip, 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 and then we'll wait till it cools right off. So maybe I'll set the laps up, or maybe we'll just skip to a few little cuts. I'll get this 100% done. Then we'll switch to the back, and the back will do the top and the bottom, the side, and whatever we got to do. Well, I took a break from welding to let everything cool off. I turned the camera off, then I forgot to turn the camera back on. So anyways, it's all welded up together. I'm going to get the flap disc out and just kind of grind it all down. Might hit it with a little air grinder after, make it look pretty, because I think it's where it's going to sit for a little bit. There may be some pinholes that I have to come back and do down the road. I'm not going to grind any of this stuff, obviously that's fine. And this little transition for the body line, I haven't thought it out yet, but I think I'll probably just build some weld up along there, flatten it on both sides, and I'll have this kind of crisp line. Should follow through, even though most of it is going to be hidden by the trim. But We'll make it look as pretty as we can, as pretty as we want, as pretty as my patience let me. So let's get grinding. Well, looks pretty good, looks pretty straight. Huh? A grinder makes you a welder ain't, or whatever it's called. There we go. It's a little bumpy. I could put a few more welds in there and grind it down, but you know what? Good enough for what it's for. I was using Mer's little sander, and this thing flew off, so I guess I didn't check the torque spec on it, so I started a little bit of grinding to do at the top. Or at the front, I should say, with that thing, but you know what? Mer got me. He got me from the other side of the country. In here, you know, that's what I was just doing, so I'll clean up. That looks good. Plugged in. A little bit more grinding down there, but overall, I think I'm pretty happy with it. I gotta come back, obviously. This is all bent to hell, and whatever we gotta do back there, we'll do. But that's really it for now. I gotta get on the other side, obviously. I might just do that tonight on my own. I mean, you saw me do one side, it'll be the exact same, weld, grind and stuff. And then tomorrow, I think we'll finish the video off. I want to, I don't know if I'm gonna seam weld it, but definitely put a fair bit of weld, stitch it at the back. This is like, you know, the pan I took out of sedan delivery to the proper floor pan. So get that taken care of. And then we do have a little bit of rot up in the top of this wheel tub. Right there, I do have the tubs out of the sedan delivery, so I think I'd like to take a section of that out and graft that in. And while I'm at it, I might, at the back here as well, I guess I could show you instead of this tear, but weld her in pretty good there. So I think that's my plan. You know, I think I was overthinking the wheel tubs. At the end of the day, I'll put some paint on them or some rust converter, and I'm gonna just put that, I put that kill mat in my 57 Chevy. I'm gonna kill mat the whole thing. It'll be fine, it's good, it's not, no one will see it. That stuff kind of goes on lumpy anyway, so I think I'm overthinking redoing the wheel tubs as far as I'm concerned. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, so we'll, once we get that done, we can kill mat the thing front to back, and then carpets out what I want to do in the back, like the cargo area, and then what I want to do for some door panels and side panels and all that. But that's all down the road a little bit. You don't need door panels to do burnouts. So yeah, the only rust repair left is right in the front of the wheel tub, but now that the quarters are in, I can actually weld that in. So we'll get to it at some point, maybe when we're in doing the brakes and the e-brake stuff and all that. But that's a damn fine panel in this automobile. Oh, and people are noticing this dent right here. Yeah, I saw it too. What are you gonna do? Well, there's only one pair in the, well, not in the country, in the continent. You take what you can get. A quick jump in the future. We got this quarter panels all done. Pretty nice. You got a little bit more welding down there, but overall I'm happy with it. So actually turned out better on the other side, I think. I did kind of start forming the body line a little bit. So that's all done. Up here, I laced out a little bit. This one had so much lead in it, was unbelievable. So we'll straighten it out, kind of get it taken care of. Anywho, now, just walk around the car completely, this is a little weird. I'm going to fix the wheel tub, but before I do that, now that the floor's in, the body's bolted down and everything, I think, a few things in there. I'm going to weld this a little better on the edge. I might put a zip cut it just kind of in there and seam weld it front and back. Just kind of keep any junk out of it and give it all the structure it possibly can have. I mean, this isn't going anywhere, but I thought I might as well. Then we got the wheel tub. So I actually pulled, this is the last bits of the sedan delivery, so I'll end up taking kind of a section like that out and cut, however bad it goes. section of it out. I'll probably cut this out first and then transfer that template onto that. That should be enough material there. Shouldn't be a big issue. We'll cut it out, we'll weld it back in, and then I think that's kind of it. I think I'm just going to seam seal everything, and then I ordered a bunch of that kill mat. Like I said, I'm going to just kind of cover everything with kill mat and be good enough. I think I might go buy a motor for this thing tomorrow. It's been an expensive week. Quarter panels, and then now a motor, and I got to buy a transmission, and I think I'm going to buy good stuff, a rebuilt transmission and a known good low mileage rebuilt motor that I know of. So I think this car deserves it. Unfortunately, when you have that in your head, the car deserves it and I like it for myself, that's when it gets expensive. I like when like welding wire and welding gas, that stuff's cheap comparatively. Anyways, I'll set the camera up, we'll buzz this in front and back, then I'll hop in and we'll get that last little wheel patch done, and then I think it's supper time. So I got the back all welded in. Definitely some welds were nicer than others. It kind of got a little goofy. The front actually went a lot better. I cut this out. I'm pretty sure this is the last piece of fiberglass, junk fiberglass I got to cut out of this hot rod. Now unfortunately I did have to pull a bit of the inner tub out with it. It was a little rotten, so I'll have to fix that. Yeah, I'll do it from underneath. But there we go. I cut out from my scrap another piece. It does have a little crack in it, so I'm hoping I can just kind of gingerly weld that back together. Anyways, it's too tall. I got to cut it off that way a little bit and probably a little long, and I don't know what way I'm going to do, but it's got the overall shape. I mean, really you could make this, but we have the pieces. Let's let one try five give to another. So I'm going to hop in there, get it kind of cleaned up, get her start tacking her in. And yeah, we should be able to get this dialed together. And then this thing is like, I'm pretty sure it's rust free, at least rust hole free. There's surface rust everywhere and stuff. The roof's my only concern. I think it's pretty solid. Little stuff like this I'm hoping won't, burn through and start sanding on it, but so be it. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm impressed with this thing. It's looking good. What a lot of work, but it's kind of hard to even show, but we got her all in good enough. I could use a little bit more grinding, but you know what? This is like a This panel originally sat over this panel, so we just kind of carried on. Good enough to be seam sealed and probably covered in that kill mat. Whew, it's been a lot of work. The body's bolted down. The quarters are 100% on, smoothed on. They're ready for, well, ready for filler at the end of the day. You know, I said there was no more rust, but forgot about the blasted tailgate. It'll need a little bit of love. I'm still trying to track another one down. There might be one locally here, so if I can find one that's decent, I might try and deal with it. But we'll see. So that's good. It's bolted down. Interior's taken care of. I don't know what we're doing next. There's piles of parts everywhere. I have an order in with Rock Auto for rear brakes, tank straps, e-brake cable, hydraulic line for the rear brakes. We have the master. We have the booster. A steering column just showed up today. So we have parts on parts on parts. I ordered a carpet kit. What else I got going on? The only thing I haven't pulled the trigger on is glass, but it's available, so I'm probably going to end up doing that. I just got to figure out how to get shipped here across the border without it being too expensive. And then, I mean, it's like kind of little stuff. So, well, a lot of little stuff. But we're getting there. So day by day, I just don't know where I want to do. My real conundrum is, I want to switch gears because I'm tired of doing metalwork and stuff. The other garage isn't ready yet, which is a fortune. Unfortunate to be another couple of weeks. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, the way this goes, the trim has to go on first, then the windows go in, and they're held in with these little things. So you gotta, I mean, obviously you want all this out to, you know, to bodywork it and prep it for paint and all that. I kind of like to start putting stuff together. And I think I should pull the trigger on the glass sooner rather than later because, as we all know, parts are hard to get, and there is stock right now, but who knows if it gets sold. I'll get another one. So I think I'm going to have to do that, maybe store it in the basement. But at the very least, I'd like to get the interior together, seat in it, get the wiring dealt with, motor trans, get running and driving. So when we're doing body work, it's a running driving car, because there's nothing worse. I'm tired of pushing this thing already. It's a pain. Alright, rant over. Danny made supper. We're really into this Yellowstone show. It's fantastic. So watch a couple episodes of that, and then I'm going to crash. And we'll be back at it tomorrow doing something. Thanks for watching. Comment below. Look at this pile of junk. Remember you guys all thought it was crusher bait? Now it's just like every panel is new. Well, not new, but not from this car, not from this car, rocker not from this car, quarter panel not from this car. Same on the other side. All the floor. Whew. This VIN number sure coming together though.